So as you know, creating games or clothing on Roblox is not the only way to gain Robux. Literally anyone can purchase Robux from the Roblox website by simply pressing one button. Of course, that button leads you to a place where you have multiple different Robux options, and the more you choose to buy, the higher the price will be, obviously. So if you head on over to the page where you can actually buy Robux, there is currently 5 different options at the moment, as well as those small bonuses you can get if you also purchase any type of Builders Club. And something about this page looks so incredibly strange and somewhat out of place. And the reason for this is actually a fair few things on the page have changed over the last few days. And honestly, the craziest change is the change in the Robux prices. Did they lower? Absolutely not. They got more expensive, although they really did not increase by much at all. In fact, they increased by literally 4 cents. And you know, I always personally thought that the previous prices for Robux were ever so slightly overpriced for how much Robux you'd actually get and the little amount of stuff you could actually buy with the amount of Robux you got. So I mean, if I thought that before the price increase, they are now definitely too expensive. 4 whole cents is an absolutely insane amount. Roblox are just money hungry SMH. But the price increase was not the only change to take place on this page. They also changed the amount of bonus Robux you get from having Builders Club. And I'm like 99% sure that they lowered that bonus. And finally, they removed and replaced some Robux options. I'm very sure there used to be quite a few more and different options. And since, once again, we were neither informed of this change nor were we warned that it was going to happen before it actually happened, I don't have a screenshot of how the Robux page looked before the changes, but thanks to a wonderful little invention called the Internet Archive Wayback Machine, all we have to do is place the link here and hit Browse History, and we will be presented with a whole bunch of options that will take us to how the page looked on a certain date. So for example, if I press the one for July 8th, which was literally just a week ago, we'll be able to see how the page looked on the 8th of July, which as you guys can very clearly see is much different. The prices for 400, 800, 4,500 and 10,000 Robux are all pretty much the same. The only difference with those is their prices increased now by literally just 4 cents. However, you can now see the option of 2,000 Robux or 22,500 Robux. And as we saw earlier, both of these options have now been removed. And it's now apparent that the 1,700 Robux option is completely new. And finally, what I think is the biggest change here is the amount of bonus Robux. It used to be 400 gives 50, 800 gives 200, 2,000 gives 750, 4,500 gives 1,500, 10,000 gives 5,000, and 22,500 gives 12,500. Whereas now the bonuses are 400 gives 40, 800 gives 80, 1,700 gives 170, 4,500 gives 450, and 10,000 gives 1,000. So those are some very, very dramatic changes, which I think is the biggest thing people were unhappy about, because I just can't imagine people crying over 4 pennies. But I honestly don't think these bonus changes are very fair at all, especially considering how much you'd have to be paying for both the actual Robux purchase and the Builders Club subscription. In some of the debates, arguments, discussions, or whatever you'd like to call them, regarding these new changes, I've seen a good handful of people actually say something like, oh, why does it matter? Or something along the lines of, does anybody even buy Robux anymore? Which is a really good point, actually. I genuinely just sat here for like 10 minutes straight trying to think of the last time I actually bought Robux, or the last time I even considered buying Robux for that matter, because honestly, what reason could people possibly have to buy Robux? I totally get that the majority of players probably buy the 400 Robux option if there's ever any paid access games that they want to try out, or even just customize their avatar beyond the default bacon hair. And I know before limiteds seem to have supposedly been silently removed or stopped being produced for the time being, people probably bought Robux for those limiteds. But now, what reason other than being very rich and having money to waste would people have to spend spend $100 on Robux. But yeah, other than a 4-cent difference, a couple of Robux options being removed, and an incredibly harsh Builders Club bonus change, I really don't see what's making people so upset about this. Obviously the 4-cent price increase being the worst thing Roblox has ever done, absolutely disgusting, and I am still in shock, honestly. But no, in all seriousness, none of the changes are that bad at all, except from the bonuses being lowered by a large amount, especially with one of the main reasons people buy Builders Club in the first place is for Robux. And this update doesn't change absolutely anything for me, because like I said, I can't even remember the last time I bought Robux. But whether people like this update or not, I don't really see the changes being reverted, so it's just something else that I guess we'll just have to get used to. But anyway, let me know what you guys think of this horrific 4-cent price change. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.